multi-potentialite, a multi-potentialite is someone with many interests and creative pursuits.
A multi-potentialist is someone who has many interests and creative pursuits.
It's a mouthful to say.
It's a mouthful to say. It's a mouthful to say.
It might help if you break it up into 3 parts.
It might help. It might help if you break it into 3 parts.
Multi-potential and ite. You can also use one of the other terms that connote the same idea, such as.
You can also use
You can also use one of the other terms that.
You can also use one of the other terms that connote the same idea.
That connote the same idea, such as the polymath.
Polymath.
The Renaissance person.
The Renaissance person.
Actually, during the Renaissance period, it was considered the ideal to be well versed in multiple disciplines.
Actually, during the Renaissance, it was considered to be ideal to be well versed in a lot of interests. Considered ideal to be well versed in multiple disciplines. Well versed in multiple disciplines. Well versed in multiple disciplines. Well versed in multiple disciplines.
Barbara Scher refers to us as scanners. Use whichever term you like, or invent your own. Use what's in multiple disciplines. Barbara Scher refers to us as.
Barbara Scher.
Scanners. Use whichever term you like, or invent your own. I have to say I find it sort of fitting that as a community we cannot. Use whichever term you like.
Whichever term you like.
Or invent your own.
Or invent your own.
I have to say I find it sort of fitting that.
I have to say that I found sort of fitting.
As a community, we cannot agree on a single identity.
We cannot agree on a single identity.
Fitting. Use whichever term you like, or invent your own. I have to say I find it sort of fitting that as a community, we cannot agree on a single identity. It's easy to see your multi-potentiality as a limitation or an affliction that you need to overcome.
It's easy to see that this thing as a...
It's easy to see your multi-potentiality as a limitation.
As a limitation.
Or an affliction that you need to overcome.
Or an affliction you need to overcome.
But what I've learned through speaking with people and writing about these ideas on my website is that there are some tremendous strengths to being this way.
But what I learned through speaking with people and writing about this on my website.
To overcome. But what I've learned through speaking with people.
But what I've learned through speaking with people
and writing about these ideas on my website. Is that
what I've learned.
There are some tremendous strengths.
There's some tremendous strengths
to being this way. Here are 3 multi-potentialite superpowers. 1. Idea synthesis. That is combining 2 or more fields and creating something new at the intersection.
That's combining 2 or more fields and creating something new in the intersection.
Idea synthesis. That is combining 2 or more fields.
That is combining two or more fields
and creating something new at the intersection. Shaw Wong and Rachel Binks drew from their shared interests in cartography, data visualization, travel, mathematics, and design when they founded Meshu. Shaw Wong and Rachel Binks drew from their shared interests. Shaw Wong and Rachel Binks drew from their shared interests in cartography, data visualization, travel, mathematics, and design when they founded Meshu. Meshu is a company that creates custom, geographically inspired jewelry.
Meshu is a company that creates custom, geographically inspired jewelry.
Shaw and Rachel came up with this unique idea not despite, but because of their eclectic mix of skills and experiences.
They were able to set up this company because of their eclectic mix of skills.
Shaw and Rachel came up with this unique
Shaw and Rachel came up with this unique idea.
Not despite.
Not despite.
But because of.
Not despite, but because.
Their eclectic mix of skills and experiences. Innovation happens at the intersections.
Innovation happens at the intersection.
That's where the new ideas come from. And multi-potentialites, with all of their backgrounds, are able to access a lot of these points of intersection.
And multi-potentialites are able to access
where the new ideas come from. And multi-potentialites, with all of their backgrounds, are able to access a lot of these points of intersection.
Multi-potentialites can access
are where the new ideas come from. And multi-potentialites, with all of their backgrounds, are able to access a lot of these points of intersection. The second multi-potentialite superpower is rapid learning. When multi-potentialites become interested in something, we go hard.
When they become interested in something, we go hard.
We absorb everything we can get our hands on.
We can observe everything we can get our hands on. We observe everything we can get our hands on.
We're also used to being beginners because we've been beginners so many times in the past.
And we are also used to being beginners because we have been beginners so many times.
We absorb everything we can get our hands on. We're also used to being beginners.
We are also used to being beginners
because we've been beginners so many times.
Because we've been beginners so many times in the past.
And this means that we're less afraid of trying new things and stepping out of our comfort zones.
So that means we are less afraid of trying new things and stepping out of the comfort zone.
Been beginners so many times in the past. And this means that we're less afraid of trying.
We are less afraid of trying new things
and stepping out of our comfort zone.
stepping out of our comfort zones.
What's more, many skills are transferable across disciplines.
Many skills are transferable across disciplines.
And we bring everything we've learned to every new area we pursue. So we're rare. What's more, many skills are transferable across disciplines, and we bring everything we've learned to every new area we pursue.
We bring we bring everything we've learned to every area we pursue.
So we're rarely starting from scratch.
So we are rarely we are rarely starting from scratch.
Nora Dunn is a full-time traveler and freelance writer.
She's a full-time traveler and freelance writer. Full-time traveler and freelance writer.
As a child concert pianist, she honed an incredible ability to develop muscle memory.
She honed the incredible.
As a child concert pianist, she honed an incredible ability to develop muscle memory. Now she's the fastest typist she knows. Before becoming a writer, Nora was a financial planner.
Before becoming a writer, she was a financial planner.
She had to learn the finer mechanics of sales when she was starting her practice, and this skill now helps her write compelling pitches to editors.
And the skill now helped her write compelling pitches to editors.
It is rarely a waste of time to pursue something you're drawn to. Editors. It is rarely a waste of time to pursue something you're drawn to, even if you end up quitting.
It is rarely a waste of time to pursue something you are interested in.
Something you're drawn.
It is rarely a waste of time to pursue something you're drawn to.
Even if you end up quitting.
Even if you end up kidding.
You might apply that knowledge in a different field entirely.
You might apply the knowledge into a different field entirely.
In a way that you couldn't have anticipated.
In a way that you couldn't have anticipated.
The third multi-potentialite superpower is adaptability.
Yeah, what? Adaptability.
That is the ability to morph into whatever you need to be in a given situation. That is the ability to morph into whatever you need to be. That is the ability to morph into whatever you need to be in a given situation.
Morph into. Just change from one shape to another. A cute bunny, for example, might morph into Killer Dragon. What?
That is the ability to morph into whatever you need to be in a given situation.
That is the ability to morph into whatever you need to be in a given situation. Morph into.
Abe Cahuto is sometimes a video director, sometimes a web designer, sometimes a Kickstarter consultant, sometimes a teacher, and sometimes apparently James Bond. He's valuable because he does good work. He's even more valuable because he can take on various roles depending on his client's needs.
He's even more valuable because he can take on the various roles depending on his client's needs.
Fast Company magazine identified adaptability
as
the single most important skill to develop in order to thrive in the 21st century.
Identify adaptability as the single most important attribute to develop in
order to thrive in the
21st century. What?
21st century. The economic world is changing so quickly and unpredictably that to develop Fast Company magazine to develop in order to thrive in the 21st century. The economic world is changing so quickly and unpredictably that it is the individuals and organizations that can pivot in order to meet the needs of the market that are really going to thrive. That can changing to develop. Fast company man to develop, changing so quickly.
The economic world is changing so quickly
and unpredictably that it is the individuals and organizations that can pivot in order to meet the needs
they can pivot
of the market that are really going to thrive. Idea synthesis, rapid learning, and adaptability. 3 skills that multi-potentialites are very adept at, and 3 skills that they might lose if pressured to narrow their focus.
3 skills they might lose if pressured to narrow their focus.
As a society, we have a vested interest in encouraging multi-potentialites to be themselves. We have a lot of complex, multidimensional problems
We have a lot of complex, multidimensional problems
in the world right now, and we need creative, out-of-the-box thinkers to tackle
We need creative and out-of-box thinkers
them.
to tackle them.
Now, let's say that you are, in your heart,
And let's say that you are in your heart
a specialist.
a specialist.
You came out of the womb knowing you wanted to be a pediatric
You came out of the womb knowing you want to be a pediatric
neurosurgeon. Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with you either.
Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with you though.
In fact, some of the best teams are comprised of a specialist and
In fact, some of the best teams are comprised of specialists,
a multi-potentialite paired together.
multi-potentialites paired together.
The specialist can dive in deep and implement ideas.
The specialist can dive in deep and implement ideas.
While the multi-potentialite brings their breadth of knowledge to the
While the multi-potentialite brings a breadth of knowledge.
project. It's a beautiful partnership.
It's a beautiful partnership.
But we should all be designing lives and
But we should all be designing lives and careers
careers that are aligned with how we're wired.
that are aligned with how we are wired.
And sadly, multi-potentialites are largely being
Sadly, multi-potentialites are largely being
encouraged simply to be more like their specialist peers.
encouraged to be simply to be more like their specialist peers.
So, with that said,
With that said,
if there's one thing you take away from this talk,
if there's one thing you can take away from this talk,
I hope that it is this.
I hope that it is
Embrace your inner wiring,
embracing your inner wiring,
whatever that may be.
whatever that may be.
If you're a specialist at heart,
If you're specialist at heart,
then by all means specialize.
then by all means, especially if you're specialist at heart,
That is where you'll do your best work.
that is where you do your best work.
But to the multi-potentialites in the room,
But to the multi-potentialites in the room,
including those of you who may have just realized in the
including those of you who may have just
last
realized
12 minutes that you are one,
in the last 20 minutes that you're on,
to you I say,
to you I say,
embrace your many passions.
embrace your many passions.
Follow your curiosity down those rabbit holes.
Follow your curiosity down those rabbit holes.
Explore your intersection.
Explore their intersection, rabbit holes. A bizarre, confusing, nonsensical situation environment, typically one from which it is difficult to extricate oneself. What are you talking about? The phrase going down the rabbit hole or fall down the rabbit hole. A rabbit hole is a metaphor for something that transports someone into a wonderfully or troublingly surreal state of situation. On the internet, a rabbit hole frequently refers to an extremely engrossing and time-consuming topic. Go down the rabbit hole. Then how far down the rabbit hole do we have to go before read about Julia the new Mobius. Tell us about a subject that you couldn't stop exploring, a book you couldn't put down, a Wikipedia rabbit hole you dove into. Why did it fascinate you? A rabbit hole. Leverage what the animal digs for is home. The oldest written record of the phrase dates back, but the figurative rabbit hole means rabbit hole. Go down the rabbit hole. Go down the rabbit hole.
Follow your curiosity down those rabbit holes.
Follow your curiosity down those rabbit holes.
Explore your intersections.
Explore your intersection.
Embracing our inner wiring leads to a happier,
Embracing our inner wiring leads to a happier,
more authentic life.
more authentic life.
And perhaps more importantly, multi-potentialites.
Multi-potentialize.
The world needs us. Thank you.